Welcome back to He's on Fire podcast. Life is crazy. Weird things happen in mysterious ways, and I'm not alluding to anything with Kevin Durant. But it looks like we might be able to get on some other special guests, and life is just quite crazy the way things happen, right? And the way that everything shook out with the Phoenix Suns the last few years in the playoffs is, I'm still kind of speechless about it. But I have an idea. And I want to present it here. I want to present it on this platform and on this podcast. And I want to see what everybody thinks. Now, if anybody read my most recent article that was on azsportsunderground.com, I wanted to hold the owners accountable. But after the owners, who's the ones that are playing? Who are on the court? Who's on the field? It's these guys. And we need to talk about them. DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Cam Payne. We can throw in there. A lot of things I want to talk about now. He's on Fire podcast. I'm glad you guys can stay tuned. Let's have some fun tonight. Let's go.
Urkavici sets. Looks up. And it is caught. Down strong. Blitz coming. Matthews. Palmer extending the play. Crosses the field. Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald is insane to the 4-yard line. Crowder looking, throws it alley-oop. Oh! He puts it down! He puts it down! They're getting a little wobbly. The downfield shot alley-oop. The foot race. They won't get it. Center field. The Diamondbacks are world champions.
Still getting a little more pumped up every time I hear that intro again. It's starting to get me ready for Cardinal football, for Suns basketball, and all the good things that come with fall. I'm really happy to be back with you guys. I'm really excited about tonight's show. We don't really have a special guest per se, but you know what? You know who is special? The one, the only, Jay Joyce. What's going on, homie?
I'm doing all right. Like you said, life is good. I'm staying busy and stuff. I'm going to have a pretty busy couple months going forward, traveling around and seeing some stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. Evan, I read your article. It was brilliant. I loved reading through it. I didn't get to tell you before we started the show, but
Thank you.
it was a great article, and it's something that needed to be said, and it's stuff we've been saying for the past 20 years. Once it comes to these franchises and stuff, and luckily we're at a time where the Cardinals are looking a little bit better, and the Phoenix Suns are the Phoenix Suns right now, and we just have some things to fix up so we can finally hit that Larry O'Brien. But when it comes to talking about the Coyotes and the Diamondbacks, I mean, is there really a conversation there? And
Bro.
you highlighted those things in the article, which was a very amazing read, and I'm not much of a reader, but it was really well done. So shout out to you.
I appreciate that, man. I'm tired of our sports teams just dicking around like it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And the only thing that matters to them is money. When it comes to the Diamondbacks, I specifically alluded to the fact that they're like the Orioles or the Pittsburgh Pirates, who just put a team out there for the sake of putting a team out there to reap rewards on the back end. Look at the Oakland A's. I mean, I'm sure everybody's seen the movie by now with Brad Pitt and whatnot, and how their payroll is like $38 million, right? Like things like that. Like, why do you have a sports team then? Right. Why? If you like what Brad Pitt says in the movie, if you're not in it to win it, what the hell are you doing? You're just treating it like a business. Mm-hmm. I get it from a business standpoint. I understand that the revenue is big, yada, yada. But if you're not in it to win it, you should not be in sports, fucking period. Period. And our ownership group right now with the Diamondbacks is god awful. Thank God they didn't go out and ship out David Peralta, man. Like if they would have shipped out David Peralta and all these other guys, and it was only him, thank God, I would have been furious because like we have some prospects. Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen are looking legit. I just put a damn team out there, pay the money that's not on a 35-plus-year-old pitcher ace, and be a damn competitive team. Go out there and try to win. I understand you can't be the Dodgers. I understand you can't be the Padres and put up all this money. but you got to be able to put a legitimate fighting chance out there. Otherwise, what the hell are we doing? Coyotes, bro, like Coyotes, they haven't had a management team, an ownership group until like now. I believe where they're going, so I want to hold judgment on that right now. I think it's going to be I've said this before, it's going to be a vibe inside that arena with 5,000 people. Like, you need to make sure you go this year, dude. I think it's just going to be a vibe at some games, and I hope I can get out there. I really want to get out there, but if you're not in it to win it, what the hell are you doing, man?
Right. I 100% agree. You know, that's always been the frustrating thing about these franchises and stuff. And we can sit here and talking about all the big market teams and all. And like I've had my critiques with, you know, like Boston and LA and stuff. And they just got away with, you know, the amount of cash flow that's coming in. So it covers a lot of like holes and disparities. And when you're talking about like the little brothers like us and like Seattle at one point when the Sonics were here. We still managed to have little glimpses of really nice teams and opportunities and stuff, but like when it comes to big market teams, just cap space isn't a real thing for them, and you know it sucks
Doesn't
to
mean
see.
a damn thing.
And it doesn't mean a damn thing. And you look at the Dodgers right now, and they're absolutely incredible, and it's constant funding, and the ownerships give a shit to a certain extent. And when it comes to just the bottom of the barrel sort of franchises and stuff, we get dealt bad hands from just leadership decisions, the wrong people in charge, and players not being here fully committed. And it's a whole concoction of things, but it starts from the top. So
100%. 100%. I mean, when it comes to the Suns and Robert Sarver, I mean, obviously he's had his shortcomings. The one thing I will say about him, I don't think anybody could disagree, is that I was happy to hear towards the end of last season, maybe it's middle of the season, whenever it said, like, when your roster gets better, you're going to have to pay out more money, which means luxury tax. And he phrased it in that exact way. And everybody's coming out. They're going to pay over the cap. They're going to pay that additional money on top of it. I was glad to finally hear that. Personally, I think it's because Robert Sarver knows he's in the shitter, and he might only have one season left to be able to get that championship ring. So maybe this is why, until he's forced to sell it or something like that. But I was finally relieved to hear that. So that kind of rolls into everything else I want to talk about tonight, bro, and that's accountability. Like, I feel like fans. Look at the fans in not New England, Philadelphia, excuse me. Fans in Philadelphia, notoriously the worst or the most passionate fans. It depends on how you want to look at it, right? They're either the worst or the most passionate. I call them the worst because in the year they won the Super Bowl, there was the Vikings game. They just got off the Minnesota Miracle, you know, that touchdown by Stephon Diggs, and it was the Vikings at the Philadelphia Eagles. And Philadelphia fans were throwing full beer cans or bottles, I'm not sure which, at a mother and their kid
I think
that were wearing Minnesota stuff.
Yeah.
That shit is unacceptable. So I call them the worst fans for that reason. Some will call them passionate. But the point is, when somebody screws up in Philly, those fans let them know. Our fans will go to the nth degree to defend DeAndre Ayton, even if he would have put up 0 for 13 and 3 rebounds, right? They will go defend him left and right. They will go defend Devin Booker. I think Devin Booker has a little bit more money in his stock, you know? There's a little more leeway with him. You can screw up because you've been an all-star. You've been on the USA team. You had back-to-back 40-point games in the finals. You know what I mean? So I think he has a little bit more leeway. Mikal Bridges, same way. Leeway. For whatever reason, he's never won anything. He's never actually done anything and held a trophy or a plaque and said, I'm the best at this, right? Never been in the all-star game. Nothing like that. But he can't do no wrong. Cam Johnson, kind of the same way, but bench player, I guess. You don't really hold him to that level. Jay Crowder, I feel like nobody cares because Jay Crowder will have your good days and bad days, and everybody just completely accepts it. And, like, it's okay. Chris Paul, when he's good, he's the point guard. When he's bad, you're a waste of money. Campaign, we can talk about him. Dario Saric, hopefully coming up. So all these things. But I really want to talk about Mikal Bridges first because we've we've beaten DeAndre Ayton to a pulp on this podcast. No one defends but the Ayton stands. Yeah, and then that it takes over Suns Twitter, and then you get the racist comments, and then you get the people on this side and the people on this side, and then we're fighting against each other, all that stuff. You're right. No one defends it like the Ayton stands. But Mikal Bridges, man, he's gonna go and give you a 28 point, 10 rebound, 5-6 steal game, right? And he's the god. But you're also going to get 5 to 6 games of him not even making an impact. I want to start with Mikal Bridges for that reason. He needs to be held to a little higher standard. And I'm going into this like we're not trading for KD, by the way. Like, this is the team we have. We're going to run it back. Maybe make a small trade for something else. But this is the team we have, right? So give me your thoughts on Mikal Bridges, holding him accountable. What level of accountability do we hold for him too? And I want to hear from the chat. So you guys speak up.
So yeah, I want to take this back to when we lost the finals a couple of years ago, and some of the narratives after the finals finish to help the Suns for the future was we need to step up in the big department, and it was trying to find that third scorer. And it's just kind of the mass consensus among Suns fans is that one of the twins should be able to step up, and we saw glimpses of that going into the season after and stuff. Mikal, one night he would drop 26, next night like 15, but he had 10 boards and stuff. And then Cam Johnson, after Devin Booker and Chris Paul were out, he stepped up huge in that Knicks game. And even before that, he was one of the most efficient guys coming off the bench or just in the league in general. So going into the playoffs, I think all of us had the expectations that at least one of these guys are going to step up. And when we got into the first round against the Pelicans, like Mikal did win us a game. Mikal and Ayton together, they did win us a game. But like Mikal, he just wasn't there offensively. And I love Mikal's bag. I love what he's able to do. His cuts, his 3-and-D. He's pretty efficient from the corner and stuff. But like he was just disappearing a lot. And when we got into the Dallas series, man. Like when we got into the Dallas series, I mean, he averaged a negative plus minus, and he only averaged 9 points and 5 boards, and like 4 of those boards are.
Wait, say that again. I didn't look because I've tried to block that out of my memory. Mikal Bridges averaged 9 points in the Dallas series. Did you just say that?
Yeah, he averaged 9 points and one of many negative plus minuses in that
rejected.
Series. And he averaged close to 5 rebounds, but 4 of those are defensive. So, like, there was just a lot of opportunities for Mikal to step up, but it just never happened. I'm not gonna put
Mikal Houdini Bridges.
Houdini Bridges. That's good. And like Mikal, he's a starter. He needs to be able to, step up in those moments like that when Book is getting double teamed. They can't dish out to anywhere. What's going on?
Shout out Suns Geek. Thank you, man. We appreciate you. Thank you.
And shout out to Blooded too.
Whole bench does need to step up. P-Dog and Sonia and Darth Voida was in here a second ago. Westfo, we appreciate you guys coming in. So let me know what else you guys think about Mikal Bridges. Go on, JJ. Sorry, man.
Oh, no, it's all good. But yeah, like you're starting 5 and the number 1 seed just in the league in general. Like you should be able to, on a dime, be able to put up the points that you can, especially if Chris Paul is not necessarily the number 1 option or even 2 most nights. So like when Ayton isn't getting fed, Mikal should have stepped up 100%, but it just wasn't happening. I'm not going to put a bunch of the blame on him, but dude, you're in the starting 5 and the number 1 seed in the West, number 1 seed in the league. And he should have been able to really exploit the Dallas defense, considering Tim Hardaway Jr. was out. And, like Jalen Brunson's defense isn't all the way there. I mean, he's undersized. And now I'm spacing on their wing players, Dallas's wing players, but they're not the best defenders either. And Mikal just kept on
Dorian Finney-Smith
Dorian Finney-Smith and The ginger guy. What's his name?
I'll look it up. Like I forget
Bertans.
too. I've Bertans.
Bertans.
I've blocked this out if you
Yeah.
can't tell. And
So
now don't forget they're gonna have Christian Wood. So
yeah. So like Bridges, like going forward, if Katie stuff aside, we're not even going to adjust that. He needs to be the third option if Cam Johnson isn't in the starting five. Like I don't know what Jay's future is with the team. He might get traded. Before the
Reggie
season
Bullock and
starts.
Maxi Kleber. By the way, they
Yeah,
signed
Reggie
Brandon
Bullock.
Knight, so they now have two former Phoenix Suns and Brandon Knight and JaVale McGee on that team. Technically Christian Wood, who is a summer Sun, but you know.
Isn't
Reggie
Marquise
Bullock.
Brown
Reggie Bullock was
Dallas?
the other dude, by the way.
Oh yeah, right. Like after the DA
No,
Pelicans.
I agree with Sonia. Let's blame COVID instead.
Yeah, I'm going off the athletic here. Like Luka didn't look right those first two games, and then we looked pretty off after those two games. So I mean, I'm not gonna put all my chips on us getting COVID, but like it would explain a lot.
But where, like, I'll go on record and say multiple times something weird was in that series. Something didn't feel right at all. Something was off. Just the whole series. It's still unbelievable to me. But moving past that, where is Mikhail's ceiling? And how much should we hold him accountable to this? Because let's be honest, his moves are slashing, spot up threes or a couple contested threes. And if he does it, he's taking the ball and he's crossing over with a step that way. And he's going. So he's always taking a front step going forward. And everybody saw that in the playoffs. It's like he didn't develop anything else. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He was going to do the pump fake, was going to do the step out and try to get to the paint for a little floater or a little midi. And there was like nothing else. And everybody knew it was coming. He's 25 now. He's 25. So at what level are you holding him accountable from here on out? Because, I mean, for me, man, he's right there with Ayton as far as importance. And a lot of people put Mikhail above Ayton because he is a wing player. This is a wing league. It is a 3-and-D league, right? So at some point, you have to hold that barometer up a little bit higher to him. And if he's not stopping anybody like he did in the playoffs, he's got to step up on the offensive end. 9 points a game? God damn, dude. So tell me your thoughts.
No, you are spot on. Like, what Voida said here, defensive player of the year. But I think Mikhail can be a little more than that. I mean, he's a top 50 player in the league right now. He could be a top 30 if he, tweaks some things, if he can deepen his offensive bag. And when it comes
to any type of handles, by the way,
any type of handles, if he can get some KD ISO stuff going on with him, like the dude's unstoppable. But with Mikhail, my biggest issue is like, I don't know if it's a coaching thing or it's a him thing or just a leadership thing. But when it comes to like the Dallas series, let's say, like this even happened in the Pelican series, that for some reason Mikal Bridges was constantly off of the main assignments. Like there was little to no time where Mikal was on Brandon Ingram or even CJ McCollum, and that was driving me up a wall in that series. And then in the Dallas series, Luka was just backing down Chris Paul at just about every play. And when it comes to just the main offensive assignments, Mikal needs to be on them. And it's just that superstar mentality in a sense. Like I know Mikal just does what he's told, but he's by far the best defender on this team and finished top 2 in the league in defensive rating and then in defensive player of the year votes. Like he needs to step up on those guys regardless of what Monty's saying. I don't give a shit. Like if Luka is bringing up the ball and he's clearing out and he wants to get something facilitating, Mikal needs to be on his jockstrap, dude. Like
I agree.
Yeah, so if we're talking about defensive player of the year, that's what Marcus Smart does, regardless of the assignment. Who's ever cooking that game, he stepped up. So, And Mikal, like, I just didn't see a lot.
I need thank you, Darth. We love you and appreciate you, man. I believe Mikhail needs to be more like Sean Marion. And exactly what Voida said. He needs to be more like Pippen as well, too.
Yeah.
He should be averaging 17 to 18 points. I was gonna say that exact number. He should be averaging that. I want to see him rebound more. He averages, I just had it up. He averages 4.2 rebounds last year, 4.3 the year before. Now, I get he's guarding people on the wing mostly, but I want to see that number skyrocket to 8. I don't think that's out of the question either, especially with the rebounding issues we've kind of had where it's Ayton and everybody else watches.
Mm-hmm.
With his reach and his ability to tip and deflect balls and do all that all the time, he needs to be up there at the 8. There's no reason he can't do that either. There's no reason he can't, especially if he is guarding people one-on-one, right? And they're trying to go in on him. He should be getting some of those easy rebounds. 18 points, 8 rebounds, but I want to see tenacity. Can we hold him to that level? Like Sonia said it a little more, a little less dancing around, a little less screwing around and smiling. Like I don't have a problem with that. Like if I was in my 20s making that money, I'd be doing dumb stuff too. But I want to see more of a tenacity out of him because when he started talking back, that's when he was playing better.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I want to see. I want to see more fierceness out of him. Like Marcus Smart plays balls to the wall, right? Would you agree?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying he needs to do that because he's like the one Phoenix Sun that's forget the stat. He has like the most miles traveled like in all of the NBA like the last 2 seasons. So he's doing a lot already. He's chasing a lot of players. But I want to see that tenacity. Like, and I think it's vital that he becomes that Pippen, right?
Mm.
And he can become that dude. It's just, man, if he could get 10 to 15 more pounds, 10 to 15 more, I think that would help him. So what do you think on that with Mikal Bridges? Should he be held to that level?
Yeah. I mean, like when Mikal is chirping and he's talking shit, he plays some of his best basketball. And I know it takes a lot to like round up somebody like that because Mikal, he's just a cheerful guy and he's just having fun out there. But no, like that level you're describing is 100. Like we've seen him at that level, and I think we can see that consistently against some of the better teams in the league. At least he doesn't need to turn it on every night. I mean, I'm not saying that, but when it comes to going against like the Bucks or Philly or even the Lakers, even if their roster isn't complete, I mean, these are the teams where you step up in that department. You let them know like what's up. Like Marcus Smart, yeah, like you said, he plays balls to the wall, and his mileage is crazy, and his effort is always there. And even when he doesn't have the shot, he takes it, and no one gives him shit about it. And I think that's kind of the main reason why Marcus Smart won Defensive Player of the Year is because of the overall effort he puts in every game.
Totally has nothing to do with Boston and an NBA agenda at all, for sure.
Yeah, oh yeah. We don't need to get into that, but but like Mikal, like his ceiling is really high, and I think it's a lot higher than what people, are from an outside point of view are expecting. I mean, I've been arguing with fucking Boston fans for like 2 weeks about Mikal.
I'm sorry.
Or I know, just his team in general. But if they're not going to watch the games, then like, what's the whole point of talking about it? So, like, Mikal's ceiling is high. He can be a vital piece to any team in the league right now, and he can even be a top 2 option in some of the maybe bottom quarter of the teams in the league. He just needs to step up in a few departments, and we're not going to ask a ton because he does a ton already. If he just tweaks a couple things, he can be, amazing, and we won't have to talk about him.
Real quick, the one and only the Cardinal Rule Joe is in the house. Good evening. So, great plug here to make sure everybody go check out azsportsunderground.com. I'll be dropping an article in the next day or two. I have a good idea for this one coming up, and I'm excited to share it with everybody. So, not going to have any spoilers yet, but I think it's going to be a good one. John Suggs has a good question. Do you think Suns stay with Shamet? Shamet is embarking on a new 4-year deal worth $42.5 million. However, Less than half of that is guaranteed with team holding power over the deal 24, 25, and into 26. I think he should go. I've seen enough. I didn't see anything on defense that makes me think, oh, you know what I mean? I didn't see any playmaking ability. He has a weird looking shot that doesn't look like it's a smooth jumper at all. I'm good with him going. I mean, do you feel the same, Jay?
Yeah, just about.
No.
I'm not going to kill Shamit because going into the season, I thought it was a great pickup, considering his previous track record with the previous teams he was on, the Nets and the Clips and so on. And he was pretty consistent, even though the percentages were the same. His shot attempts were a lot lower than they were when he joined the team. And I expected a little bit more. I thought his defense was pretty solid this year, but I mean, it seemed like everybody scored on him. It's just because he's a little bit undersized. But I definitely think he's going to be a piece to trade going forward. He's definitely going to be on the top of one of the main pieces we distribute out. A lot of people were
Good contract money.
clouding that contract, that extension right away and stuff. And when you look at the numbers, it seems really bad, but I think when you really look at the full landscape of everything that's going on with this team, I think Shamit's contract is kind of perfect for the situation right now, especially if we're shipping them off. So another team would have to deal with that. I don't think he's going to stay any longer, at least I think at max one more year, or at least until the trade deadline, possibly. So I've been disappointed of what I've seen from Shamit this last season. Maybe he just had a bad season. I don't know, but we're in championship mode, and if he's gonna be,
we don't got time to develop.
Yeah, we don't have time to deal with this and stuff. I think he's a good dude. His name's Landry. We just gotta move on. So,
great comment by Westville. Jay Crowder is our only goon, and he wants out. Westville, do you know anything that said that he wants out? I know there was a lot of stuff coming out that was like, yeah, y'all need to upgrade the power forward position. Yeah, that's it. That's what it's going to be. He was saying that sarcastically. I think he probably knows he's on his way out because of the KD deal potentially. Same with Shamit and all these other dudes. I was surprised that Cam Johnson was making some appearances at Mercury game and stuff, considering he's probably going to be one of the guys going out too. And he's like, yeah, it's a business, it is what it is, but I love Phoenix. And it sounded like he already had one foot out the door, but has anybody actually seen where he wants out or anything like that? Because if we're going to run it back, I'm fine with him being there. I would like an upgrade at that position. I just don't know who it would be at this point, but it definitely feels like the NBA is on hold for things. So LeBron James today re-upped an extra 2 years for 47 point whatever a year. It's 96 total guaranteed or 7 or something like that. Highest paid player right now. Dan Duarte, our good friend, also tweeted out dominoes falling. It was a GIF. I don't know if you caught that.
Yes.
And this was one of the things that we were looking at, if Kyrie leaves, KD wants to leave. That's for sure going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if Kyrie stays, then KD will stay, but that will piss off LeBron, right? Because LeBron wants Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
So let me get this straight. If LeBron is staying, that means he believes in what's going on in the Lakers organization for 2 more years, probably his last of the 3 years, right? That roster is hot garbage. So something else has to be in the works, and you would imagine it's Kyrie. Is that correct, Jay? Are we on that right assumption at this point?
Yeah, it has to be, or LeBron is clocked out and he just wants to cash in. It's one of those two, because I just don't know what else they'll do to revamp this team. I mean, they did get Thomas Bryant, which is a nice addition, and if Anthony Davis goes down, I mean, they have a really solid center to back up him. But I think Russ is completely checked out. I think the Lakers want to move on from Russ. I think
Russ doesn't want to be there because he has to play defense now. They told him, we want you to play defense.
And be more efficient from the corner. And Russ has never been too efficient from the corner either. So
wild shot.
I think everybody is in agreement that that Russ is probably going to be going somewhere. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of talks like that on sports media shows and stuff, but like Russ wants gone. He fired his longtime agent because of difference in opinion, and like he wants to go. And with Kyrie, the only team that's been interested is the Lakers. LeBron and Kyrie together are a nasty duo, one of the best duos in NBA history. And I think the only guy that can keep Kyrie in check and playing is LeBron.
Bro,
So,
listen. Ben Simmons to Utah.
yeah,
Kyrie to LA.
yep,
Russ Spider to Brooklyn.
yep,
KD to the Suns. And then, Cam Johnson,
yeah.
Shamit, Dario, Jay, picks.
Picks go to Utah.
And there you go.
New York. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that for Spider to leave, that means like a Jordan Clarkson or Bojan Bogdanovic will have to, come to us. And then Utah will want picks back.
Mm-hmm.
Lakers have no picks. So Brooklyn's going to have to send those picks over. So instead of us giving them a bevy of picks, how about you keep those picks and we'll give a bunch of picks to Utah then? And you can keep the ones that you currently have, plus, one or two pick swaps, whatever it may be. And now you're not giving up picks for Donovan Mitchell. Now you've upgraded. Now you just got rid of Ben Simmons and Kyrie for Russell Westbrook with one more year and Spider.
They're your all-stars.
And you keep draft picks, and we just give them all to Utah, and which is what they want. But what do I know? What do I know? The longer this does drag out without any moves, without a Spider trade, without a Kyrie trade or Russell Westbrook trade, the more it sounds like the Suns are going to get KD because schedule release, right? Schedule release just came out. No KD and Kyrie on Christmas. No KD, Kyrie opening night. No KD, Kyrie, Martin Luther King games. But the Suns have all those games?
They cut their national televised games in half. It went from like 30 to like 15, 19, something like that. There's still a few good free agents out there. Not sure how the money would work, but if we trade for KD, we will need some guys. Yeah, for sure. And I think Dwayne Washington was kind of like something to build off of a Jordan Clarkson model if we weren't able to get him. Like
Schroeder.
I mean, they play really similar. Dennis Schroeder, he's definitely a guy that I'm eyeballing, and I want to try to go after Vanderbilt. Dude is a rebounding machine. So if we can get him, like if we ship out Jay or something, have Vanderbilt come in and play alongside DA. DA doesn't need to worry about the rebounding aspect, and Vanderbilt can just snatch everything that's going up there. And plus, we're going big. Plus, let's just say KD, Buck, CP, Vanderbilt, DA. I mean,
Facu Campazzo, anybody? Hello.
Oh shit.
Jarrett Culver is still out there. That could be a guy that you can bring in. Avery Bradley. There's your perimeter defensive guy, right? I wouldn't mind bringing that guy in. It says Kent Bazemore, but I feel like he just signed in like Sacramento, I believe.
Yeah.
Trevor Ariza, Carmelo Anthony. The one thing I also saw is that LaMarcus Aldridge would want to come here then if KD came here and Lamar. So it's like completing like the full circle of life here for Suns fans. Who says KD's not going to Miami? KD.
Yeah.
KD don't want to go to Miami. What are you gonna have to do to give him up? And what is left over? You have to give up big name players, and then you got nobody else left on your team. KD ain't going there. Nobody wants Duncan Robinson. Nobody wants Duncan Robinson right now.
You're gonna play in the playoffs, dude. That shit was sad.
We've said that for a while. So then you got to give up Harrow. Harrow certainly is not enough. So now you're giving up one of Kyle Lowry, which they don't want because he's older, and then Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo. And Bam can't go there because of the rule of having the guys on rookie contract that they've picked up or something like that. So he can't go there. So that's why it's not going there. Carmelo Anthony, I saw something that he's probably going to Denver.
That'll be tight.
That's kind of like the circle of life type of thing too, and that just makes Denver all that scary because then you kind of got a little mystique and and
God.
stuff going after them. So that's
Why?
that's interesting. And Roy, what's going on, man? Welcome back.
Why doesn't Denver bring back the powder blue jerseys, man? Like as a
I like
throwback.
what they got going on, actually. Like, I feel like those jerseys can't miss. I feel like every one that they put out there is pretty dope, and every new one that
The
they have
Nuggets
is
ones
pretty dope.
have always been clean. I've never hated a Nuggets.
Except for like the dark blue and gold and like dark red or whatever that they had like back in the
Yeah.
mid 90s. That was trash. That's when like George McLeod, Dikembe Mutombo and company was over there. But yeah. Anyways, so Mikal Bridges, we have to hold him accountable as that third star. And if you want to put Chris Paul and Devin Booker up there, or Chris Paul or Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton, and then Mikal, whatever your ranking is, that's fine. My opinion, he needs to be held to a top 3, and he needs to get into his bag just a little bit more, because he's very, what's coming from him, especially if he's on the perimeter. If he's covered, the move that's coming. He's got to find something else in his bag. He does a great job cutting. Nobody will say that. His backdoor cuts, phenomenal, superb. Didn't work in the playoffs, dog. Did not work in the playoffs in 2 full series and last year. So if he's not shutting somebody down, he's not worth it, bro. I'm gonna say it right now. He's just not. If he's not shutting somebody else down on the offensive side in his bag, he's not worth it. And I love Mikal. Don't get me wrong. That's just where I stand on it. You guys can have your own opinions, and I love it, and I welcome it. So please share them in the chat, all that stuff. And make sure you like the stream, share it out, ring the bell so you know that when we're going live. We try to go on every Sundays and Wednesdays, but, life happens, and you can't always do all that. So hopefully we'll be going on after Suns Jam from here on out. That's kind of the plan on my end, because I don't want to take you guys away from great content on their channel, and hopefully vice versa. DeAndre Ayton, we've beaten it to a pulp. Let's not get too into it, but he got paid. We brought it up earlier in July. Dude got his bag. So all of his bitching and moaning, I'm not getting money, this or that, all of the DeAndre Ayton stands, well, he's not getting paid, so why should he care? All that trash. You know what? He's here for 4 or 5 years. He got his bag. You need to be that top 3 center. Notice how I said top 3, because he's not going to be a Jokic or Embiid. He's got to be that number 3 center, like, period. Defensively, great. Offensively, took steps forward. This year, this is where I'm setting him. He's a number 1 pick. He needs to demand that damn ball. He needs to demand it this year. And then he has to make things happen. That's what I think should happen with him. If he is not averaging 22 and 12, something went severely wrong. That's hoping he gets at least 2 to 3 more shots a game. Like, I think 3 shots more per game would be where he's kind of living at. I think he was averaging 13 shots a game, and so he needs to average at least 16. And with his efficiency, that's 24 points right there, right?
Yeah.
But he needs to demand that ball this year. That's where he needs to be at. And if he does that, I think that is the key that will open up everything else. I 100% believe that. But he's also got to have a motor, dog. He's got to have that motor. But demanding the ball kind of does that to you. When you demand the ball and you score, everybody in this chat has played sports at one time. You've gotten hot at one time, right? Whether it's baseball, hockey, croquet, I don't care. You want it to be your turn because you know what you are going to do with it. Everyone's been in that mode, and that's what DA needs to be. But he also still has to play that defense. So 22 and 12, I would venture to say he could average 24. But those shots have to go up. And I want to get into Monty. I want to get into the way he plays and the style. And Chris Paul and Devin Booker kind of shunning him sometimes, which I've gone on record of saying why I think that is. But he has to demand that ball. He has to be efficient. He has to show it on the defensive end. And he has to have his players trust him, his teammates. That's what I think we've been lacking in Devin Booker and Chris Paul. They haven't trusted him. Where are you at with DA right now? Because he's going to be here. He's not being traded. He is here. He is for sure here.
he got his bread, man. He got what he wanted. Yeah, it's a little less than what we offered him, and that was a great little spiel there, by the way. But yeah, dude. Like,
Hold on. Good spiel.
He's on fire.
A little late.
but dude, you are 100% on the money. So, like, he got his bread. We're past that now. Okay.
Get your Hakeem Olajuwon on, dog.
From October 19th to January 15th, this is the window where he needs to talk shit. I love when this team talks shit and they just bully people around. I like that's my thing. And like what we saw from DA in that Minnesota game, you remember when he put up his career high? He was talking shit the whole game. He was laughing at Karl Anthony Towns.
Are you talking the one we were down like 38 points and then won?
Yeah. Yeah, he like Da did this to Cat a couple times. He's like, "Watch, bro!" Like, and like Da went absolutely off. And when Da and Mikal are talking their shit, they play some of their best ball. And this is the season, or like let's call it a semester, because basically from October 19th to January 15th, that's basically a semester. Like if you're talking about school and stuff. These 2 quarters of the year, Da needs to be a vital piece in this offense and even on defense, but more on the offensive side of things. Like you said, he needs to demand the ball. I want him to bully the mismatches. I want to abuse it. I want like coaches to scramble, try to like throw guys at Da, try to figure something out, because the more guys that are thrown at Da, that's more opportunities for our guys in the corners. A book, popping up for a top of the key 3 or a midi or whatever, and that takes a lot more stress off of Chris, because we're still rolling deep with him. So Da absolutely needs to be the number 2 option on this team, if not the number 1 most nights, because he has top 3 potential. I'm not going to put him in the conversation with Embiid and Jokic, because those guys are in a different lane of their own. If we're starting a different lane, Da can be the front of he's in the driver's seat of the rest of the centers in the perfect mold.
Oh, you froze for a second.
He has that offensive bag. Yeah, I know. I saw that. And like he's one of the most efficient centers in the league. Okay, and from the most efficient. From the midi, from inside the paint, that 82% efficiency from the playoffs last year, not this year, but last year. He won us a handful of games in that Pelicans series because of how efficient he is. And on the defensive side of things, I mean, he's like second to none when it comes to big man centers. Like he has all the tools. It's just his motor. And yeah.
That's what Suns Geek alluded to, and I wanted to go back to his comment. If I can find it, for me, it's the engagement. My thing is, I feel like if he does get those extra shots, which, by the way, he averaged 12 last season and 10 the year before, I would like to see him go up to 15 and add at least 1 to 1.5 threes per game. Like that, I'd like to see that. He shot 36.8% for 3. Let's have him shoot a little bit more. But I feel like if he gets 3 to 4 extra shots per game, that engagement, it's just natural tendency. You would be more engaged knowing that you are getting the ball a little bit more. He's still young. He's still immature. He's still playing video games. And so, again, I think that was part of the issue the last 2 years with the motor, because he knew he wasn't getting it, because I don't know if Booker and Chris Paul trusted him fully, right? So if he's getting those shots, he knows he's going to get it. He starts bullying people. I think that engagement will naturally come out. I don't see a reason why he should average less than 16 shots per game. He averaged 17 on 12. 4 more shots, you'd expect him to get to that 21, 22 mark out of 3 in there, right? I think 22 is there. The rebounding, I'd love for him to get closer to that 11.5 than he had the 10.2 last year. 11.5 his second year. I would love to see that a little bit more. And I've seen a lot of other comments in here. Joe, is it bad that I kind of like villain mode Booker? No, but dog, he is the villain now. He's like the villain of the NBA. People don't like him. because he's good. People don't like greatness. I didn't like Kobe at the time. I didn't like Michael Jordan at the time, right? I didn't like these players that went Steph Curry. I don't like Steph Curry, right? People don't like greatness because it's not their team. It's not their favorite player, right? Does that make sense? So people don't like that, and I think that's unlocking Devin Booker, and we need to see that from a lot of the Suns.
Yeah.
We need to see that. I don't want to see them dancing and clowning around, although that's kind of their swag. I get it. They're in the NBA making millions of dollars. Let's fucking dance it up. Like absolutely. But I want to see a revenge tour. I think that's what all of this is culminating to. I want to see a revenge tour that next year. And you know what? If we win a game down by 20 and then we beat them at the last second, I don't want them going crazy. To me, that's like check mark on to the next one, right?
Mhm.
Winning the first round of the series, playoff series, not good enough. Getting to the conference finals, not good enough. Being up 3-0 in the finals, not good enough. That's what I want every single game. Kind of the same way with the Cardinals too. Like if we go 4-2, 5-2, or whatever to start, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna say I don't give a damn. Talk to me in November if they can win 2 in a row. Talk to me if they win 3 of 4 through December, right? That's when it's gonna matter. But all these dudes, they all need to step up, and they all need that dog mentality because we got clowned last year. We did. Anything else you want to share on DeAndre Ayton? I cut you off because I wanted to talk about the natural engagement and progression, please.
No. Yeah, just to cap off on the DA stuff. Like he 100%. Like if KD doesn't join the team or whatever, DA needs to be the top 2 option, and the offense needs to go through Booker and DA every night. I'm not gonna rely on Chris Paul the same way that I have the last 2 seasons. We're just not at that point anymore. So, like he like I want to see this team as the villains because we're treated like we're one of the most hated teams in the league for whatever reason.
Just lost your audio, dog.
Do you hear me?
I can barely hear you unless it's maybe me. Your audio just went like super low there for a second, but I'll keep it going. Yeah, you're completely right. We need to see this out of absolutely everybody, and then we kind of turn to Monty Williams, a guy that looked like he could do no wrong, draw up the right play, get the right thing out of everybody, just press all the right buttons. You can go ahead and talk if it's there. Nothing. Hopefully it's not me.
What about now?
There we go. Now I hear you. It might have been me. Monty Williams, dude. Monty Williams. How much are you holding him accountable? He's the coach. He's the one drawing the plays. Didn't see a lot of changes the last few years when we're behind the 8 ball. Like we saw in the Lakers series last year, right? Like we did a completely 180 turn. Changed everything around. Didn't have to do anything against the Nuggets. Didn't really have to change a whole lot of scheming things with the Clippers and the Western Conference Finals, up to nothing, similar against the Bucks and the Mavericks, and then they turn the 180 and there's no adjustment. And yeah, Jay, there is a little bit of crackling in your audio right now. It could be that cord that we've had issues with in the past, but it's all good. Monty Williams needs to. I don't want to be too hard on him because he has a little bit of leeway too. I feel like he's one of the main guys that has gotten this out of that 10-year rut. You can't show everything this year though, Monty. It seemed like we were doing the same shit in last year's playoffs that we were doing this year. And the league caught on twice. I feel like you can definitely get away with that play style in the regular season. He needs to save stuff for the playoffs. Yeah, you still got the crackling, but we'll roll through it. So maybe if you're not talking, just mute it. Okay. He needs to be able to make those adjustments and save something to the end of the season because it hasn't been there. And that's what's been frustrating for me. Is like it looked like he made those adjustments. He could change this, change that. Remember a game last year against the Clippers? We were down by like 31 and then we only lost by 1, right? There was quite a few games where he was making adjustments. and then to fall flat on your face. So where does Monty Williams stand as far as, holding him accountable? Ooh, Sonia with the hot take. Ooh, bit of a soft coach. Oh boy, call them out. Hold players accountable. Wow, I love it. I love it. Nobody's holding back. I love it. Everybody's pissed. From the collection that I've got on the right, we've been dead on with everything. They want to see this. So this is the level that we should lay it out. So Jay, talk to me about Monty Williams and what you think of him.
Like we said in the beginning of the show, talking about the management side of things, it starts from the top, and when you get past the ownership and the GMs and all that, you get down to the head coach, and it starts there, ground level. And we've had, we love Monty. Yeah, he's a great dude. He's been through a lot. He's been around the league for freaking ever. He's been under Popovich's system. He's been around some of the best players like in the league. And he absolutely needs to start making in-game adjustments and
needs to start calling challenges. Add a girl.
The challenges, the in-game adjustments, because that killed us in the finals. That killed us in the Dallas series. And he continuously keeps on getting out coached, even though we have the best coach, 2 year in a row coach of the year, winner. And he's too soft. He plays safe. He goes by the book, and that's what I love about him. But at the same time, I hate it too, because there's a lot of games, there's a lot of missed opportunities that happen because of his negligence sometimes, and his stubbornness, and his favoritism towards certain players. And book aside,
and read that comment.
Exactly. And Roy says picks players that make no sense, like he didn't give minutes to Ish when he was playing better with Craig, or better yet, Frank Kaminsky in the finals, dude. Like, everyone's like, oh, we don't have any centers. I'm like, we have one right down the bench, and he can size up Bobby Portis. He can step up on Bobby Portis. He can at least slow down Brook Lopez and stuff. I mean, this is the stuff, that drove us crazy when we talked about running big lineups. Like we were preaching in the Pelican series, and it just wasn't happening. And then we came on this podcast after game 4, and we're like, dude, run big, because they're not running big. And what do you know? Like, the next game they had Biyombo and Aiden, or JaVale and Biyombo out, and they were really solid minutes and put us up by 10, 12 points. And they just gave us that push. Like, sometimes you got to listen to the fans. You don't always know everything, but Monty gets paid to make these adjustments. And I think a lot of our mishaps have been at the forefront of Monty's decision making. So it's 100% starting with him.
So from the point of that I'm seeing with everybody, for me personally, I want him, because regardless of substitution, officiating, all that stuff, we were still right there, and he didn't make any changes when we needed to. I'm talking about in-game adjustments, new types of plays, like all that stuff, right? For me, that's like the number one thing. Save something for the playoffs. Save a new offense, a new something, so that we can come out and kill it. For me, that's number one. I like what Roy says as a number 2 thing for me, when it comes to the lineups. I kind of had forgotten about that. Like, you're playing Torrey Craig, who is a negative 76. Meanwhile, Ish Wainwright has played 2 minutes and he has 9 points and 3 rebounds. Like, what are we doing here? Why are you still playing campaign? Why are you still putting in these guys, right? So that would be number 2. And then what Suns Geek said, you know what? Quit playing nice guy with these referees and let them have it. Get tossed out of some games, even if it's booked just to send a point on a Tuesday night in Detroit in January. Send a message to some of these referees. I think those are all great points. I do trust in Monty, but that's coming to a close pretty quickly, to be honest. I still want him here for the next 5 to 6 years. I think this just shows our passion. It shows how much we want a trophy. And if we get a trophy, I think I'm just going to quit podcasting because my life is like completely fulfilled at that point. Like, what else do I need? And that shows the passion that we have. I love everybody what they're pointing out in the comments. This is 100% accurate. With all due respect, sometimes I forgot Torrey Craig was even on the team, not the court. The team. I do think he's going to have a bounce back year next year. So I want to come up to my last point, and we'll get you guys out of here. The bubble happened in 2020. Had the big 4-month-long break, go into the bubble, and there was like 8 weeks, 6 weeks until the season started again, right? So no real off season. Start the season in like December or late December or something like that, and we roll all the way through and we play through July. And then we started in October, right? So we've had all of these short, condensed, weird seasons for it's impacted 3 seasons so far. What is an actual off season, an actual workout program, actual off season conditioning, a full timetable? What will that do for the natural growth of our young players? For Mikhail, I'll put campaign in there. For DeAndre Ayton, Cam Johnson. I think this is really, really going to help this year more than any other year. We should see more of a jump this year than we've seen for the natural progression. And everybody has thrown that out for the past 2 seasons. Well, I think the natural progression of Mikal Bridges should be ABC. It's like, well, he's probably tired as shit because he's ran the most in the NBA. They have 8 weeks to get ready. What do you really expect them to do? I didn't expect much of a jump, and there was minimal improvement. But I think this year, in this offseason, we should really see a jump for Mikal, Cam, and DeAndre Ayton. Does anybody else agree with that as far as an actual real offseason? What do you think, Jay? Do you think there's something to that?
Yeah, I think a lot of our hate towards this fan base and stuff, and for the team in general, a lot of people were like, oh, like y'all didn't, face, like real competition. People are hurt or whatever. We went through some of, I have a bunch of stuff. It's like in boxes and stuff.
He lazy.
Yeah, I'm lazy as hell, man. But like we've played practically 3 seasons in a year and a half, and we've come off of 2 of the shortest off seasons ever in NBA history. And I mean, like, no one is bitching about the Bucks and like how they, lost in the second round. I mean, yeah, Chris Middleton went down, but where's Giannis hate? Oh, because Giannis is the most beloved guy in the league. I mean, where's our, sort of excuse?
No,
you're not seeing that. So
no one likes this.
So like we can give all the excuses as we want and stuff, even if we don't make that big splash in this off season or at the trade deadline. This team is still a 55 win team or even more, and like the expectations are high because we were just in the finals 2 seasons ago, and we should have at least had a chip by now. But things happen, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I'm not going to hold my breath, but I'm going to be as passionate as I can, and and be here every Sunday, Wednesday, or whatever other day we decide to do a pod and talk about what this team needs to do to improve and get us over the hump, because we've been trying to go over this hump for literally a lifetime. And what's that Greek mythology thing? That guy's punishment was to push a boulder like over a mountain continuously.
Mm-hmm.
That's, if you can sum up the Suns franchise, it's really that you get to the peak right there, then Jordan hits a shot, then
Paxton, Kobe, whoever,
Kobe,
or Kobe will freaking airball it, and then Ron Artest will randomly be there. Ugh.
Don't start with me.
Arizona sports in a nutshell, but this is by far one of the best teams I've seen in my lifetime, and I want to see it come to full fruition, and that being Larry O'Brien at the end of the time. Yeah, there you go. Man, what's up, Joe? Dude, quick. But like this team has so much potential. They're still one of the best
Mhm.
teams in the league. I don't care that Jamal Murray's coming back. I don't care a double-legged injury, Kawhi Leonard's coming back. I mean, we can talk about these big names as much as we want, but when it comes to
You
the
don't care about Rudy
consistency-
Gobert in Minnesota?
Oh no, absolutely not. We're still one of the best teams in the league. I mean, I can really care less about what Golden State's doing. They're all like they're going to be there, and there's a few humps and things that we need to fix up with this team. And even if we don't make the KD splash, like we still need to put in the work, dude. And we've had a full off season finally in like 3 seasons, so like it's time to buckle up, and do what we can. So.
But put on your big boy pants. And the one person that shouldn't talk to the refs anymore is Devin Booker, because he doesn't get any calls. Like he just stop. I mean,
Who gets text
fight,
anyway?
fight the fans, man. You can talk to the fans all you want like that, because that's funny. But damn, stop talking to the refs. It ain't doing us any good. That's my problem. When it's not helping us, just stop. So I appreciate the good karma that Monty's trying to make, but he's the one that kind of needs to be a dick now, because boy, we weren't getting any calls. I'm more optimistic now. We've actually officially have talked about more of Game 7 in this podcast than we have since it happened. I'm getting more and more optimistic about the Cardinals moving forward, especially next year and beyond. Like once Tom Brady like hangs it up, which he inevitably will, you've got Matt Stafford that could hang it up soon. And Aaron Donald, you're already having retirement reports with Sean McVay. So like the NFC is just going to be wide open for the taking, the absolute taking for the next 5 to 7 years potentially. I'm really excited about the Cardinals. I'm coming around on college football. I have a really good show planned, a Sun Devil podcast, a roundtable discussion about all things college football and Sun Devils. I'm going to ask the tough questions too. I'm going to go in on leadership there, because that's been an absolute mess and an embarrassment. Then the Suns. Suns have a road ahead of them each year too, dude. Each year they have a road ahead of them. It's going to be tougher each and every year. So getting a guy like KD would make it a little bit easier, obviously. But those are the things I wanted to talk about today. Where are we at holding these guys accountable? What is good enough? What is all-star level? What's unacceptable? I think we talked about it with everything with Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, Cam Johnson, even to a point, even though he's a bench player. I think that one game against New York really showed him what he could be. And I expect that obviously if injuries happen, we could have a different discussion. But I'm feeling better about this, even if we stood pat. But obviously the NBA is at a standstill, and we all can speculate as to why. And that's why no additions have come. That's why nothing new has happened. So I'm looking forward to it. Next week, Sunday, like 5 days from now. Cardinals game is at 6:00 my time, 5 your time. And we get to hop on here right afterwards and do a little Sunday night football preseason podcast edition. That's going to be fun. But you know what else that we're going to do on Sunday night? We are going to give our official game-by-game record prediction for the Arizona Cardinals. This should be a good hour and a half podcast minimum. Going to go game by game, full projections. It's going to be a lot of fun on Sunday. We'll talk about what happened on the preseason game and everything coming out. And I just get the feeling, bro, that we're going to get some NBA news soon. Like something is coming in the pipeline. Like that happened with LeBron, so he knows something's up. Like something's going to happen soon. Something is around the corner. These teams have their schedule in front of them. Training camp is less than 2 months away. I think it's like 6 weeks away or 5 weeks away. Like these teams can't go into training camp with Spider on the team after all that speculation. He don't want to be there. He's going to be gone. You got to get rid of him, right? Nobody wants Russ on the Lakers. KD has already said he's going to hold out. Okay, maybe he hasn't said that, but a lot of reports say that he has said that he's going to hold out. You can't go into the season with that. So something is coming. I'm excited. You guys should be excited. I can't wait till next Sunday. What about you, Jay?
Dude, I am stoked for the future to come, especially with the Suns, and I'm really excited to see, the Cardinals and stuff. And with this KD thing, his tweet kind of cleared up a lot of things in my mind, at least, with him saying, like, if you're not hearing from me, it's like bullshit. And like the brief synopsis of what he said, and that just made me feel a lot better. And not even if he doesn't become a Sun, like with all these like sources says, and you go to see who the source is, and it's literally like a New York writer or a Boston writer or a Philly writer, and saying like, oh, the 76ers were in the race and like all this shit, like him putting out that tweet kind of, I think, really flattened the surface with the trade talks and stuff. And like I'm hoping for the best. I hope we acquire him. I think he's 100% wants to be here. And when it comes to training camp and he doesn't check in, I like start ordering your KDs, man. Did you see the new KD shoes that came out? The new colorway?
No, I didn't. No.
It's straight up Phoenix Suns colors. So yeah, maybe you can look it up real quick.
Yeah, I'll look it up and try to share it.
Yeah, I think it's the KD 15 or 14, something like that.
Yeah, they're the 15s, and I'm looking at them. I actually see them in all different types of colors.
The newest colorway that just came out was like straight Phoenix Suns colors.
Huh. I got to try to find it, or maybe you can find a post and send it to me soon. But that's an interesting little tidbit.
But I just Arizona sports in general, just football and basketball. I'm really looking forward to what the future is. I think we have a very exciting Cardinals team. I mean, we're just offensively loaded, and one of the guys I'm watching out for is Greg Dortch. I'm hoping that he makes the final roster.
Could be nice.
And like we really utilize him because he looks like a straight dog. I think Kyler is going to step up. When D-Hop is officially back, I think this team is going to be absolutely crazy. Planet Orange deserves a top 10 player.
You talked Cardinals for 1 minute and we already lost 2 viewers. Like whenever we talk about Cardinals, our viewership just plummets.
But these two teams have so much potential. Torch the torch.
We got dude. My son is running around now, so we got him a couple not fucking what do you call it? Just like sleeveless shirts, right?
Yeah.
And he goes around and he's like, I look like Devin Booker now. So he's saying, it's like, oh, are you Devin Booker? He's like, no, I don't have a number 1. So it's just he's going around and talking about how he's Devin Booker because I have a jersey and everything. I am going to take him to a game this year. November 18th is when they're in town for the Jazz, and they're not going to be as good this year. So I'm looking forward to taking my son to his first game as well, too, to see Devin Booker.
I'm going to tweet at KD probably in the next day or so, and just I'm going to send him a screenshot of the shoes and tell him October 19th against Dallas, can I wear these to the season opener and stuff? And hopefully he likes and retweets it and kind of
go.
Confirms it.
Man, season opener against the Mavericks. I think a lot of people want that to be a revenge game, but don't read into that. Remember, we got hammered by Denver at the beginning of last season, and within the first 24 games, we had an 18-game win streak. So don't take the season opener too seriously. I know everyone's going to freak out because it's the Mavs and they want to kick their ass, but even if we win, don't take it too seriously. We all know that Luka usually has bad turnouts at the beginning of seasons too. It doesn't mean anything. It's another check in the book, check box, whatever you want to call it. That's all it is. Don't get too crazy, but it will be good to get out and actually see some Suns basketball. But we got to get out of here. I've got a big day at work tomorrow, and then we're going up to the lake one more time before my wife has surgery next week. And then it's all daddy daycare all the time for me for the next 6 weeks on. So it's going to be challenging, but here we are. Life hands us strange things to deal with, and here we are just going through another challenge, and hopefully she'll be healthy afterwards and everything will be good after that. So, man, a lot of good things coming up. It's the final countdown. We're 2 weeks away from NFL season. We're a few weeks away from NBA training camp. The new shows are coming out. Fall just keeps getting closer. It's hot as hell today, but it's going to start cooling down even more over here. So we're going to get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Don't forget to check out azsportsunderground.com for all the latest Cardinals and Suns articles coming up. Check out ASAP Sports as well, too. Hit the like button, subscribe, share us out. 256 subs is not a lot to you guys, but man, we really truly appreciate it. So please share us out and ring that bell so you know when we're going live. So if anything does happen, we will come back live. We've been waiting. We have these thumbnails and everything waiting until some news breaks. So hopefully something does. Thank you guys for coming out. It's been a blast tonight. As I said, I was excited for a great episode. Lo and behold, there we are. You guys were active in the chat, and we appreciate y'all. He's on Fire Podcast. We'll be back on Sunday with a Cardinals preview show. Thanks for coming out. Peace.
Appreciate it, guys.
Urban sets. Looks up.